The medbay of the Concordia station gleamed with sterile precision, every surface reflecting the cool blue bioluminescent panels that the Velthi medical staff preferred. Dr. Silthran, head physician of the station's xenobiological ward, observed the human medic with 4 of his compound eyes while the other 2 checked the vital monitors. Elsa Martinez crouched beside the whimpering Krell cub, her weathered hands moving with practiced confidence. The young alien, no bigger than a large dog, had sustained a fractured hind leg during an accident in the recreation sector. His chitinous exoskeleton was cracked, and the soft tissue beneath showed signs of internal bleeding. The proper protocol, Dr. Silthran clicked through his translator, requires a minimum 48-hour cellular regeneration chamber session, followed by, "Kid's in pain now," Elsa interrupted, not looking up. She'd already pulled out her personal medical kit, a battered gray box that made the Velthi doctor's sensory appendages recoil. "Leo, hand me the irrigation solution." Leo Chen, her assistant and the station's only other human medical personnel, passed her a bottle without hesitation. He'd learned months ago not to question Elsa's methods, no matter how unorthodox they appeared to their alien colleagues. "You cannot possibly be considering manual intervention," Silthran protested, his translator crackling with distress. "The trauma to undeveloped tissue, the risk of improper bone alignment, this is barbaric." Elsa cleaned the wound site with efficient motions, her fingers gentle despite their calluses. "The regeneration chamber's occupied with that Thorian who got caught in the airlock malfunction. Won't be free for 6 hours. You want this little guy suffering that long?" The cub whined, a sound that transcended species barriers. Its primary guardian, a full-grown Krell named Threshcore, clicked his mandibles anxiously from the corner where Leo kept him calm with soft reassurances. "Please," Threshcore's translator emitted. "Help my nestling." Elsa had already made her decision. From her kit, she withdrew items that made the assembled alien medical staff recoil: a roll of silver adhesive tape, 2 flat carbon fiber rods, and what appeared to be primitive padding material. "Is that duct tape?" Dr. Silthran's voice peaked at a frequency that made the translator squeal. "Quick seal adhesive tape," Elsa corrected, though her slight smirk suggested she knew exactly what she was doing. "Leo, hold him steady. This is gonna hurt for just a second, buddy." She worked with the precision of someone who'd set broken bones in far worse conditions, which, Leo reflected, she probably had. Earth's rural regions and conflict zones had taught Elsa Martinez more about emergency medicine than any sterile academy ever could. The cub squealed when Elsa manipulated the fractured bone back into alignment, but the sound cut off almost immediately as she worked. Her fingers palpated the injury with surprising gentleness, feeling for the proper position through the alien's unfamiliar anatomy. Bone structures similar to a bird's, hollow, lightweight, she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. "Leo, the foam padding." Together they constructed what the other doctors could only describe as a primitive splint. The carbon fiber rods aligned along the cub's leg, held in place by carefully wrapped padding, all secured with strips of the infamous silver tape. Elsa worked in layers, checking circulation at each step, ensuring the binding was firm but not constrictive. "The tape's adhesive will react with his biochemistry," another Velthi physician warned. "It could cause—" "It's inert," Leo interjected, having anticipated this argument. "We tested it on Krell tissue samples last month." Elsa doesn't improvise with alien physiology, not anymore. 15 minutes after she'd started, Elsa sat back on her heels. The cub's leg was immobilized in what looked like a crude but functional splint, the silver tape gleaming under the medbay lights. The young Krell had stopped whimpering, its large eyes blinking up at the human with something approaching wonder. "Now," Elsa said, standing and wiping her hands, "he needs antibiotics, the broad-spectrum xenobiotic blend, and something for the pain. In 2 hours, once the swelling's down and he's stable, then you can put him in your fancy regeneration chamber to speed up the healing. But right now he's comfortable, the bone's set, and he's not going into shock." Dr. Silthran approached the cub cautiously, his scanning equipment humming as it passed over the makeshift splint. His expression, or what humans could interpret as expression through his alien features, shifted from horror to confusion to reluctant amazement. "The bone alignment is perfect," he admitted. "Circulation is maintained. Tissue damage is minimal. How did you—" "Practice," Elsa said simply. She packed up her kit with practiced efficiency. You folks have amazing tech, don't get me wrong. But sometimes the old ways work just fine, especially when time matters more than perfection. Threscore approached, his massive form dwarfing the human medic. He lowered himself in the Krell gesture of profound respect, mandibles clicking softly. You have saved my nestling from hours of suffering. The debt of the brood is yours, Elsa Human. She waved off the formality, uncomfortable as always with such displays. Just doing my job. But hey, maybe keep your kid away from the anti-grav courts until he's a bit bigger, yeah? Over the following days, word spread through Concordia Station about the human who'd fixed a broken leg with primitive materials and audacious confidence. The Krell cub healed perfectly, and after his time in the regeneration chamber, he bore only a faint scar where the fracture had been. Dr. Silthran began attending Elsa's training sessions on emergency field medicine, taking meticulous notes on human improvisation techniques. The other species doctors remained skeptical but curious, these humans with their duct tape and boldness, their willingness to act when action was needed rather than wait for optimal conditions. Leo found Elsa in the observation deck later that week, staring out at the stars. You know they're calling you the brutal healer now, right? He said with a grin. Elsa snorted. Could be worse. Could be that crazy human with the tape. Pretty sure that's also going around. She smiled, and in that moment, Leo understood why humanity had earned its reputation among the stars. Not for perfect adherence to protocol, but for the courage to help when help was needed, using whatever tools they had at hand. Sometimes brutal was exactly what kindness looked like.